Hi, my name is Josh Gottry. Welcome to today's weekly lesson. It's not obvious today we're talking about timpani. I'm not going to do a whole lot of playing in this lesson, but more talk about some of the preparations you need to make in order to play timpani and some of the information you need to have before you approach the drums. So I have a set of two drums in front of me today. This is a 29-inch timpano and a 26-inch timpano. Yes, by the way, timpani is a plural word, so there's no such thing as timpanis, but rather a single drum timpano or a set of drum timpani. So certainly build that into your vocabulary as a habit. A standard set of four drums will typically have one larger drum, 32-inch. So we have 32, 29, 26, and then one smaller drum, 23-inch. And then sometimes you'll see, or fairly commonly, you'll see a set of five with another 20-inch drum, slightly smaller drum as well to complete that set of five. Certainly there are other arrangements of larger sets of timpani or slight variations in size. Sometimes you'll come across a 25-inch and a 28-inch instead of 26 and 29. But generally you'll see the standard set of four, 32, 29, 26, and 23. Each of those drums also has a standard range, and it's really important to know the ranges of the timpani that you're playing on. If for no other reason, to help you understand which pitches you should put on which drums as you're tuning the instrument. So these two drums, 29, 26, between the two of them have an approximate range of F to F. F, the space right below the treble clef, or excuse me, the bass clef, space right below the bass clef, up to the F on the fourth line or second from the top line of the bass clef, where the two dots are in the bass clef that surround that F. That would be F3. So F2 to F3 if you know your octave numbers, or from bottom space, the space below the staff to the fourth line in the staff, those two Fs. So these two drums span a range of an octave, and each one, give or take, spans the range of a fifth. So this one is F to C, F2 to C3, and this one is B flat to the F3, B flat 2 to F3. The 32 and 23 typically both have a range of D to A. One, the D to A below the staff or just barely into the bass clef staff, and the other, the D to A from the middle of the bass clef staff up to the top line of the bass clef staff. So if that helps, F to F on the middle two drums, D to A on the outside two drums, just an octave apart. And then you know generally where you can put your pitches as you're starting to prepare to play. The best sound on each timpano is mid to upper range. Sometimes we need to use the lower range of the drum, but certainly if possible, we want to seat each drum in its mid to upper range. That's ideal. So for example, if I have an A or a B flat, I would much prefer, let's say a B flat or a C, I would much prefer to put that note on the 29-inch drum if possible than to try and put it on the 26-inch drum. Even though B flat and C both will fit, the B flat or C would be on the upper range of this drum, the B flat or C would be on the lower range of this drum. It gets a little muddy if I put it in the 26. Much clearer projection, much quicker response because the head is a little tighter if I put it on the 29. Okay, so there's just a couple things to know before you approach the drum. And then we have to talk about how we actually tune the instrument. Of course, that's what the pedal is for. But first, before you tune the instrument, you need to have a pitch source. You need to have in your head what pitch you're trying to match that drum to. I recommend a tuning fork. The reason I recommend a tuning fork is because it's silent. Only you hear that original pitch, and then you tune the drum to match that pitch. Some people may use an electronic tuning device. Can be a little spotty just because of how low and how many overtone frequencies you hear in timpani playing, sometimes electronic tuning devices don't pick up the pitch very accurately. A lot of people also will use a pitch pipe, which is great. It's very portable, has a full chromatic range, but you do have to actually blow on it and make it a sound that could be heard by other members of the ensemble or even the audience potentially in a performance while you're tuning. So I recommend a tuning fork. Now, of course, with a tuning fork, one of the things you need to be able to do is get different pitches from a single pitch. Tuning fork gives you one pitch. This is an A. And I'll go ahead and strike it gently on my knee, and then I'm going to put it on the rim here, and perhaps you can hear that. If you do that, you can usually just hear that frequency of the A. If not, typically what you do with a tuning fork is you're going to strike it and then just hold it up right to that front flap of your ear, and you'll hear the pitch just kind of resonate your head. And then from there, you need to know your basic intervals and be able to find other pitches from that pitch. For example, right now these drums are tuned to A and D, so A to D is a perfect fourth, and I would I know that interval. You can use songs for that. For example, perfect fourth, Here Comes the Bride is a melody, or Oh Christmas Tree, that these two drums would present in that perfect fourth. So again, recommend if you do know your intervals and can sing different intervals from a specific pitch, I would recommend a tuning fork. If not, probably a pitch pipe is a good idea for now, and then gradually get used to hearing and identifying and being able to create intervals from a single pitch. Okay, so once we have that pitch, then we have to tune the drums. So if I've got let's say that D that I'm trying to reach, and if the drum weren't tuned, I'm going to push the pedal down to the bottom. I'm going to go very simple 3-step process. Okay, strike the drum, move the pedal up until it reaches the pitch that I have already set in my head, and then strike the drum again just to confirm I reached that pitch. So I have the pitch in my head that I'm looking for via the tuning fork or pitch pipe. I'm going to make sure the pedal is below that pitch. Now I know that a D on this drum is going to be basically in the middle of the drum, so I don't even have to push the pedal all the way down. I'm going to push it most of the way down under where I know that D is going to be. I'm going to strike the drum once just with my finger, because I'm the only one who really needs to hear this. We don't need to bang away with a mallet or things like that. I just need to hit it, so I'm just going to lean into the drum, strike the drum once, and then just confirm after I reach that pitch. Now, a lot of drums have tuning gauges, and tuning gauges are fantastic, particularly for pieces that have a lot of tuning changes middle of the piece, or even tuning changes that you don't really have time to prepare for. However, almost every tuning gauge can be moved. I can take a single note and move it up a little bit or move it down a little bit. And the reason why is as the drums are moved, as they're played, as the head stretches out, depending on the lights in the auditorium and how things warm up, the actual tuning can change ever so slightly. So it's important to always set the gauges yourself for the pitches you need, not trust somebody else to do it. They're great to use, but you might want to make notes on your part or something like that to make sure you're set with what pitches you need, set those on the gauge beforehand, and then still be listening to the ensemble to make sure, hey, if they go a little sharp, you need to go a little sharper. If the drums get a little flat because they're heating up because of the lights on stage, you adjust accordingly as well. So they're great for reference. They're not precise for use at all times in all situations. So hope that helps as we get started. We'll do more another time. Have a great week.